Hello, friends. Welcome back to the channel. This is Instant Movie Reviews with
Raina
and Drew. I'm Drew. And so we are coming back to you with another movie review. We're just in the parking lot outside the movie theater, about to go in, grab our popcorn, and see the opening night of
The Conjuring, the most recent Conjuring film. What number is this, Drew? 4?
It's the Conjuring 4, but I think it's the 9th in the Conjuring universe franchise overall, because there have been the Annabelle and Nun spin-off so far.
Right. So some of these movies have been phenomenal for me, and some of them not so much. Loved 1. It was iconic. 2, still very strong. 3, forgettable. The Devil Made Me Do It was completely forgettable. And I don't know if it was a victim of the COVID pandemic or what, but it was just, it flopped for me, except for the 2 leads. I love them, and I think they have great chemistry, but that was the only redeeming quality of it for me.
I was just saying to you, I don't really remember a lot about The Conjuring 3, other than it was kind of like a courtroom drama mixed in with some supernatural stuff, which wasn't a combination that worked quite as well as I think that they had hoped for.
And it was sold as more of a courtroom drama, but there was very little courtroom. I remember. The only thing I thought that was really scary about it was there was like this waterbed scene where...
Oh, I do remember that now,
yeah, where a kid kind of gets pulled into it. But that case was not, like, it had been done so many times already, and it had inspired so many other movies. And I were talking about it today because she's seeing this tomorrow, and she kind of said it best. She's like, it had been done. Like, of all the things they could have done, that one had been really done. So,
you know, it was an excellent supernatural / courtroom movie, The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Oh yeah, man, I remember that back in the day. That was a really good balance. Very good.
That's what Conjuring 3 wanted to be.
Yeah, and it was definitely not. But what now, in case our viewers don't know, what are some of the other films in the franchise?
So obviously Conjuring 1 and 2, The Nun 1 and 2, and we've gotten 3 Annabelle films of wildly varying success and quality. The first Annabelle was all right. It was serviceable, nothing special. Annabelle Creation, I think that was Mike Flanagan, if I'm remembering correctly. So of course it was great. And Annabelle Comes Home, which I expected very little from, and I think you and I both just loved that movie.
It was terrifying, and it is supposed to spin off into a story about the bride, but it seems like we're getting some of the bride in this film based on the trailer. And my favorite one was the ferryman, who you would see his eyes, and then he would disappear and the eyes would fall because they were coins. Ooh, like, I found him so scary. But I genuinely found that movie very scary, and it was good to watch in the theater because there was a lot of, like, peripheral things going on, and the sound and everything.
What was nice about Annabelle Comes Home is it shifted the focus to the Warrens' daughter, who has been in all of the Conjuring, like, main Conjuring films. And apparently after Ed and Lorraine retired, she took over the paranormal stuff. So the idea in the marketing is that this is the case that made Ed and Lorraine stop. But they've said that this is just the end of this chapter of the Conjuring franchise. This is not the final film. It's just going to be the final Ed and Lorraine. Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson.
I think the daughter's name is Judy. And if I recall correctly, Ed and Lorraine and the daughter Judy consulted on the first one, and then after the first one happened, he passed away. She continued to consult with their daughter, and then she passed away, and now their daughter still consults on stuff. Like, she's always in, like, the behind the scenes and everything. And Ed was such a character. His website, I don't know if it's still like this, but for years, if you went on, it was monks Gregorian chanting covering Green Day. So, like, if you opened it up and it was like, "Don't want to be an American idiot," like, it was amazing. It was amazing.
That him trolling his own fans? Because I mean, you have to be a little silly to actually believe that any of this stuff really happened. They say it's based on a true story, but I think that's with massive air quotes around it.
Right. And, like, I've listened to some audiobooks of Ed Warren's, and they included some of his recordings, and I'm like, you sound nuts.
Well, I mean, the thing is that the Warrens worked on the Amityville horror, which was a total hoax. So anyway, I personally kind of believe in ghosty stuff. I've had some experiences I won't get into in this video. Maybe I'll talk about them later if people are interested. But I do believe kind of in ghosts, but I think that a lot of these stories are embellished. And I think that Ed and Lorraine Warren were, like, very savvy in like getting people to buy their books,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not sure how truthful their accounts
And
were.
you know what? It's just fun at this point, and I really love the actors who are playing everything, and just how well they like the rapport that they have. I think it's the same actress for Judy, like being grown up now, because she was like a teenager
Yeah,
in
they
that
had to
Annabelle
recast
film.
her for some because the movies kind of jumped around
In
in time. Annabelle Comes Home, which was a later entry in the franchise, actually takes place in between The Conjuring 1 and 2, I
Okay.
think. So they had to cast a younger actress to play her, but I think you might be right. I think
one of the actresses
who has previously played Judy, I think, is going
because
to be
she was
in
in
this.
The Haunting of Hill House and Mike Flanagan. Like, she was in all of those, so
Mhm.
I think she's in this too. Anyway, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm hoping it's not as bad as the last one, but I do kind of feel like, you know, they've been up and down. We like some of the Nun, we didn't like some of the Nun. Annabelle, some yes, some no. I wasn't huge on La Llorona, who was also a spin-off
Didn't
of
even
this.
watch that one. No.
Didn't find it very scary or anything. It was a cool concept, but didn't really find it
Mhm.
scary. And it's kind of nice to bookend
Mhm.
this, you know? I mean, it's sad because it's not like we've been able to review all the other films on the channel, but at least we're doing it. And one thing I did want to bring up, because you and I reviewed 28 Years Later, they did drop the trailer for the Bone Temple. Did you see it?
I have not yet. Again, the ending of 28 Years Later kind of killed my buzz. I'm sure we'll watch it. Because in January, what else is coming out besides the new Silent Hill movie? I'm
It's
sure
very
we'll go see it.
divisive, and my only question for any of you who have seen the trailer is, in an apocalyptic world that's been going on for like 28 years, did they really go on raids to find all these blonde wigs? Like, that's what I want to know.
But as I said to you, where did Rick Grimes and Carol and Daryl find, like, still like 10 years into the zombie apocalypse, jeans that they can still wear? You have to suspend your disbelief a little bit.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of suspending belief, we are headed into The Conjuring, and we'll let you know what we think. We are changing the format of these videos a little bit. If you have received the new YouTube hype function, it has not been rolled out to everybody yet, but because we are over 50 subscribers, you can hype our video, and we would really appreciate it if you do that. You get 3 free hypes a week, and if you hype it, it just basically, it's like a retweet or a reshare, just like you would do on any other social media platform. It sends our video out to people who subscribe to you or follow your activity. It just gives us a little signal boost. We'd appreciate it.
But we say use your free ones. We're not asking you to pay
Don't
money
pay.
for this. We're not doing pay to play here. We want this to be a real support.
We don't get any money from it. It's just all
Yeah.
YouTube gets money from it. So, and it hasn't rolled out to everyone yet. I don't have it, so
I don't have it yet either.
I haven't been able to hype our videos from my main account, which would be great because I have like 700,000 subscribers. So
I do not. I have a couple karaoke videos that like maybe 10 people have watched.
It's great. But I love them. I'm one of those 10 people.
Yes.
All right. We'll see you soon.
We'll see you in a minute. All right, so before we get into our review of The Conjuring Last Rites, we have something we need to get off of our chests. And this is not the first video that we've done this, but it's particularly called for this time. Take it away, Raina.
I don't understand why people go to movies and talk on their phones the whole time, or use their phones the whole time, or get up and leave 50 million times,
or rock their seats,
or
making
rock
a
their
squeaking
squeaky
noise
seat through the whole thing, or put their flashlights on and wave them around, or chew a plastic bottle in front of you.
Your bottle chewer was back.
My bottle chewer was back. In the relay video, I talked about an obnoxious woman who sat in front of us and literally had a plastic bottle, and she turned it like corn on the cob. She was back in the exact same spot. So she must have like a seat that she likes to choose. It was the exact same woman. I looked at her from behind. And I was like, this can't actually be happening to me a second time. And it was. And this time she was chewing the plastic top of a pop container, or soda, as some of you Americans call it. And she's literally, and then she's like putting her hand through it and her fingers through it. And I'm like, is this practicing for like lesbian foreplay? I don't know.
My God.
I just killed Drew with that one. But I had joked to Drew at the beginning of the movie, because they always play this little track where it's like, don't be a Sally soundtrack, don't be a Tommy Texter. And I'm like, I'm going to bring in like a spray bottle like you would with cats. I'm just going to be like Caesar Milan, the dog whisperer. And when people are bad at movies, I'm going to be like, and spray them.
And then you'll get arrested for assaulting everyone in the movie theater.
Oh, I just wanted to assault them so bad. Like they did it, like it was actually so many people that I didn't even feel like I could say much, because I felt like I'd be a teacher standing up and yelling at everybody. And the staff did come in and like address people quite a few times, and nobody cared. And there's one guy off in front of Drew to the left, and his phone just keeps going off, and I yelled to him like very obviously, multiple times, mute your phone, mute your phone. And it got to the point that it would be like, and then he'd look at me. And I'm like, are you challenging me? Are you challenging me?
You're being challenged to a duel.
I have to tell you that I feel that my review of this movie is a little biased because literally the first half of it, I was dealing with nonstop annoyance. And I have ADHD, so it's really, really hard for me to ignore this stuff. But nobody can ignore freaking being in a dark movie theater, supposed to be watching a scary movie, and someone's waving their flash around, you know? And I find that scary movies are the victims of this the most. It tends to always be a scary movie.
And I think the reason is it's a genre that attracts teenagers more than something like Relay would have, although we did have that issue at Relay slightly.
Those people all look like they were my age except for the line of girls behind us.
Fair enough. So I noticed it too. I'm a little bit better at filtering it out, but yeah, I agree, it was bad, and I could sense it. Like, I was like, Raina's about to start throwing elbows very soon.
Throwing shoes, throwing phones, dumping popcorn on people. And the thing is this is opening night for this film. It's not like it's been out for a couple of weeks and like people are just bumming around looking for something to do. Like, I hate when that happens, but I almost kind of expect it when we go to a movie that's a bit empty and having obnoxious people. But I have to say, this happened to us at 28 years later. It happened to a degree at Jurassic
we had to
World.
Move 28 years later. Well, Jurassic World, the kid next to you who was talking was obviously on the spectrum, so we have to be understanding of that.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of people were still quite loud in that film, I found, and talking and moving around. And it's funny because I can remember when Endgame came out, there were all these memes on the internet about like not disturbing people while they watched it. I guess I just don't understand. Why are you going to a movie theater? It's so expensive to go to movies. Why are you wasting your money and everyone's time? Just stay home, watch the movie where you can scroll your stupid phone with all your notifications as loud as you want,
or just stay home and slam your head in a desk drawer over and over again.
Improvement to the human race. So anyway, Drew, how did you find the movie?
All right, so putting the distractions aside and really just trying to focus the movie on its merits, the first thing I'll say is it's better than The Conjuring 3. It is better.
I feel like everything
3.
is better than The Conjuring 3.
I would say that's Conjuring 3 was my second least favorite in the franchise, after the original Annabelle, which I just didn't find very good. So it's definitely a step up from that. It is not The Conjuring 1 or 2 either, and I think it's because James Wan didn't direct that one either, the one that we just saw. Conjuring 3 and Conjuring Last Rites, which we just saw, was not the original team behind The Conjuring 1 and 2.
He was still involved with this, though.
Still involved, like, in a producer role, but I mean, like, the feel of it, something was lost after The Conjuring 2. And I like quite a few of the spin-offs. I'm one of the few people who actually kind of likes the Nun movies. I know they're not great.
Another movie that we had to deal with talkers to the point we got a refund.
But like this one, it definitely sends out the Warrens. Like, it really is about the Warrens to a degree that I almost felt like, do you remember in The Conjuring 1 and 2 how they spend so much time with the Perron family, and I forget the name of the family in the second one, but you spend so much time getting to know the family and the interpersonal dynamics of the family and the different personality traits. I cannot tell you a single thing about any of the family members in that movie other than girl who starts it, girl who has something bad happen to her, little girl with a doll. Like, there's not a lot of character development of the Smurl family. And I feel like that was intentional because this really is supposed to be the send-off for Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Also, I've looked up this case, and like those people really were in the media loads and like heavily scrutinized, and they wrote their own book and everything, and they were on talk shows. Like, that was real. That actually happened. So there is a lot out there that's already out there. So I think as much as it would be good to know more about them, the other cases we saw, except for in the first two, I think there was room for artistic interpretation, story interpretation, and they could really weave this story back and forth. But with these guys, like, all their stuff was out there, and same with the devil one, like that, everything was out there for that case. So it's kind of hard because, for instance, the devil made me do it, like, somebody died in that. like people died. So there are people who believe that guy is a murderer and they're victims. So they have, they have to tread carefully with that. And with this one, a lot of people were critical of this family, thinking that they were scamming everybody for money and stuff like that.
And I totally get that. But at the same time, though, I could have used seeing a little bit more. Like, you don't you don't see a lot of the haunting of that family. You see a little bit at the beginning, but then it shifts focus to the Warrens for a lot of it. And by the time the Warrens actually get there, like, again, not to spoil anything, but like, you can see certain bits of the house that are in poor condition, and it's clear that something has happened. I was like, I wanted to see that. I wanted to see what made the wall look like that, or I wanted to see what makes the basement look like that. And I don't know. I get why they would focus so much on the Warren, since this is Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson's last starring role. I'm still convinced they'll show up in small parts in future ones, but it's the final Ed and Lorraine focused. I get the focus on them, but it was so focused on them and Judy that I feel like I didn't get enough of the family to really care about what was happening in their house and the haunting that they were facing.
Yeah, yeah, so I feel like the strong points in the first two are missing in the last two. So the way that they balance the stories and the characters in the first two, but also the practical effects really made it good. The practical camera tricks that they did, you know, that famous clap clap game scene is really popular. This one I found it was a lot of CGI. It was a lot of like, okay, we're actually going to have a person just float, and the first two would build up to stuff like that, and it would make you doubt and wonder if you were actually seeing stuff. One thing I did like, though, that it carried over from all the other ones is the ghoulies in the background. And so you would be doing a second glance and being like,
Always
am I
scanning the
seeing
back,
that?
yeah.
Is that a very Haunting of Hill House? Like, you know, always in the background. And the audio, again, I've said it, 2025 is the year of really good audio mixing. Being in a theater for this one and hearing like the chanting and the music and stuff. There's also some scenes with a priest that I felt were very slight homages to The Exorcist in a really well done way, not in a like, oh my God, this trope again. Like, it was unique enough, but still enough of a like, oh yeah, yeah, that's a nice little nod to that, because they were well shot. Actually, I actually thought that the priest scenes, as brief as they were some of the better practical effects of the whole thing. So they were spooky.
Although I will say, though, that of the imagery that we do get, like the spooky stuff, it's nothing I haven't seen before, even in other Conjuring universe films, but it just felt like I wasn't really seeing anything that was all that new.
Yeah, I don't think I had a single jump scare. You know, there was a part with a baby doll that I thought was really funny and topical, because I was born in the mid 80s and I had one of these oopsie daisy dolls that crawled and fell over. And so that was like, oh my God, even as a child, I thought those dolls were haunted. I was so freaked out by my oopsie daisy doll that I threw it down the stairs. So like, it just freaked me out.
I would throw that oopsie daisy doll down the stairs for sure. But I don't know, it feels like maybe we've been spoiled, but it feels like the last couple of years horror has really started to do something new, even with old subject matter or old tropes. Like, I feel like maybe Bring Her Back and Talk to Me, and even something like Final Destination Bloodlines just gave us something a little bit different, and that felt very traditional.
Yeah, it felt very traditional. It felt like they were trying to play all the old notes, but kind of missing them a little bit.
Although there are some fun Conjuring universe Easter eggs in this. There are some plot elements, because Judy is a main character in this, and she was a main character in Annabelle Comes Home. There are some nods to that movie and the events and how Judy carries that going forward, which I appreciated.
There was a lot more Annabelle than I expected, and Drew and I were talking about it, and he said, you know, it's probably tying it all together to the movie Judy was in. But I also kind of felt like it almost felt like they were setting us up for another Annabelle movie. Like, she just kind of kept popping up.
Well, she's so popular, it's basically a license to print money. They would be stupid not to make another Annabelle movie. Even the worst Annabelle movie still made a ton of money.
Yeah. I mean, Annabelle's scary.
Yeah. I said to you at the end, so for those who don't know, the real Warren house and the real Warren Museum has recently been purchased by a, shall we say, controversial comedian. And I leaned over and I said, does it make me a bad person that I would enjoy a Conjuring movie where that comedian is stalked and maybe killed by these creatures now that he owns all of them?
That's really weird, I find. Just so weird just to have someone like that.
It's like Michael Jackson buying the Elephant Man's bones. It's like, why do you want it?
I mean, it came full circle, though, because Lady Gaga bought a bunch of Michael Jackson stuff. So, anyway, overall, the first half of the movie was hard for me because it was a bit slow, and I knew what they were trying to do, but I was so distracted by the audience. I think even without the audience, I probably would have needed it to be very dark and very quiet so that I could feel immersed enough that it felt really engaging. It picked up by the midpoint.
Yeah, I think that maybe the reason the early parts bothered you so much is that the noise in the theater and the other people were not bothering me to the same degree as you, but I was noticing them because the movie was failing to suck me in.
Exactly.
And I think maybe the first half it was harder to ignore that, not just because the audience was terrible, but also because the movie was not doing a great job of getting you invested.
I think part of why the audience was terrible is because the first half of the movie was so patchy.
Yeah.
I don't even necessarily want to say it was slow, because there was stuff that like I found interesting and I was like, oh yeah, like I like learning about this. I didn't realize how long this movie was going to be either, and I really needed the bathroom. And when we got close to the 2-hour mark, I was like, this is crazy. Like, this is just like really going for it. And I think that's also a weak point, because the first and second Conjuring were so paced in such a great way that like it kept you going. It was thrilling, and it gave you a second to catch your breath, and then it kept going again. And it was very easy with those two films to suspend your belief, because it left, a lot of it was suggestive, and it left your own fear to your imagination. But speaking of suggestive, 2 trigger warnings for you.
Yes.
The first one that I'll give you a warning for, that I found really difficult, and also because the audience was being ridiculous too, at the same time, is there is alluding to the possibility of a baby death. And so if you're somebody who's experienced loss, or is pregnant, or has just had a baby or something, you might find that kind of triggering to watch it at this phase in your life. Do you want to tell them the other trigger warning?
And again, we're not going to get into spoilers, so I'm not going to tell you what or what nature, but there is a dog in this movie. The dog does not die. Don't worry, the dog doesn't die, but the dog doesn't get through this entirely unscathed, I will say.
Yeah, he gets hurt. So yeah, he's not going to show up on Does the Dog Die list, but he does get hurt. Less violence towards children than the first ones, the first 2. Like I remember watching the first 2 and being disturbed by some of the things happening to the kids. So stuff wasn't happening as often to the kids in this one as it was happening around them. Like there's and then, you know, there's definitely some of the stuff that teenagers go through, but I just remember with the first 2 movies, just like kids, like actual kids having bad stuff happen.
But the kid actors were amazing in those movies.
Yeah,
I can't. The kids in this one are just there.
Forgettable.
They're just there.
Yeah.
There's more on-screen violence in this one than I remember them being. There's you know, CGI. Again, it's CGI blood, which is less effective. But there's a couple of on-screen deaths that were a little bit violent, and there's one character who suffers a bit of a gnarly injury that I actually in the theater was like, ooh.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I didn't find it scary. I found it decently entertaining. It's better than The Conjuring 3. It's not going out on a low note, but I feel like if they're going to keep doing these, they need to figure out something new or different to do. I don't want to just see that again.
Yeah, I would much rather they just do a new story and then maybe hint at the Warrens' involvement, like see them in the background of something, or have like a silhouette of them talking to somebody or something. I don't know.
Or like even just have Judy come in at the very end to solve it. Like maybe next time focus on the family. And what's happening to them. Because there's so many things like still that there are in that museum that we haven't seen. The ferryman and that carousel. And there are other things we've seen in every single Conjuring movie when they go into that museum that it's like, I want to know more about that. I want to know more about that. And I just feel like they have teased those objects and they haven't done anything with them yet. New Line, just do something with those objects.
Yeah. There's some fun cameos. Keep your eyes peeled. And also the credits, there's a scene right at the beginning of the credits that is kind of cool. And then there is a very, very brief end credit scene. Only us and like 2 other people stayed to watch it because we looked it up beforehand to see that there was something in it. It was pretty neat. I think they're really interesting people to go down the rabbit hole reading about. I did realize that this case is in one of the books that I listened to, and that was... there's some stuff in that book that I'm surprised they didn't actually adapt, because Ed made audio recordings with that family. So I'm even just surprised they didn't have him like pull out his audio equipment.
There was shockingly little interaction between the Warrens and this family. Once the Warrens actually show up to get involved in this case, I was like, okay, now we're going to get some development, but they just kind of are in the background for the most part while the Warrens do their thing.
And they didn't do much with the media. So like the media comes in at first and it's like, oh yeah, this family's going on TV talking about this, and then the media is just like not a thing thing anymore. And the media was such a prevalent driving force of that particular case and the fallout of that case. So I wish they had explored that a little bit more.
And I mean, not just that, but the Warrens themselves. The Warrens were involved in the Amityville Horror, which was its own controversial thing. By the time this movie happens, the Amityville Horror aspect of the Warrens' involvement has finished. You would feel like as soon as the media sees the Smurls, who have been all over TV talking about this, and now the Warrens have shown up, I feel like it would have become even more of a media circus.
Yeah, I feel like it had a lot of potential. It just focused on too much of the wrong things. And again, I like the Warrens. Like, I like learning all about them and having their stories. I'm not like not invested, but then just have a case that is just them. Like, don't have a family as like the vessel of your story if you're not going to show the family, I guess. So anyway, that being said, Drew, what is your rating?
So throughout most of the movie, I was sitting there thinking this is a 6. This is a 6 for me. But I will admit, I like the finale. Once stuff actually starts to really build to a climax, I thought it was well done. I thought it was effective. There was some cool imagery. That alone lifts it up to a 7 for me, but it's just because I liked what the ending sequence did. Up until that point, it's just a 6.
Yeah, that's really funny you say that, because I was thinking this the whole time too. To me, it was a 6, but then I thought to myself, well, I do like it better than some other movies that I rated around a 7, and then I kind of think about that for a little bit. So for me, it's about a 7 as well. I do think the people who really enjoy all the Conjuring universe will probably enjoy it. It felt like there was quite a bit of fan service in it. You know,
I didn't walk out of being like, oh, that was awful. Why in the world would we go see that? I just wish it had been a little bit more.
No, and I'm glad I saw it in theaters, whereas Devil Made Me Do It, or whatever it was called. That was what it's called. There you go. I keep getting the name wrong because the movie was so forgettable, right? And I said to Drew, I'm glad I didn't see it in theaters because it would have been a waste of money. So, you know, I didn't walk out of it saying that. I pretty much just want to forget that film existed.
So what would you say, now that we're at the end of this chapter of the franchise, what Conjuring movie would you say is your very favorite?
The first one was iconic in the same way that the first Saw was iconic. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of set the stage. But actually, the second one is my favorite because I found it the one that pulled me in the most. It scared me the most. It set my expectations high. And very much to like Saw 10. Like, I watched them all, but Saw 10 was still my favorite. Like,
well, it also helped that Valak, the demon nun, was such an amazingly designed character. Like, there's a reason Annabelle and the nun are the only two that have actually gotten their own franchise, like spin-off franchise at this point.
Yeah, I felt like that. And that was also a really good balance of showing, yes, the Warrens are being targeted by like this nun, but also this family, and now we're invested in this family. And also the actress, I can't think of her name, but she's a scream queen all on her own, who played the mom in the second one, right? Like, she's phenomenal. She did the original Haunting of Hill House movie and all kinds of stuff. So like, she was great, like having her in there. So I think that's a 2 for me. What about you?
So if we're just talking about the Conjuring movies, 2 is so close to the very top of the entire franchise. But man, Annabelle Creation was so good.
Okay, so if we're talking about the entire thing, 2 is my second, and Annabelle Comes Home is my first. Annabelle Comes Home legitimately scared me. I was so stressed out during that
and
film.
Annabelle Comes Home was so fun. I didn't feel bored during any part of Annabelle Comes Home. So yeah, it's kind of those 3. Annabelle Creation, Conjuring 2, and Annabelle Comes Home are kind of at the top of the pack. And then the others, like, there's descending downwards to Annabelle 1, which I just didn't care for at all.
Well, what do you think we should see next, Drew?
So we have our eyes on the football-themed body horror Him that's coming out soon.
Of course, another horror one.
I am going to see on my own, hopefully this weekend, the movie Lurker, which has been getting some buzz, so I may pop on and do a little 3-minute short review of that. And the Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey, I think you said that you're kind of interested in.
Yeah, Colin Farrell and girl who played Harley Quinn.
Oh, Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie, yeah. It's Colin Farrell and Margot Robbie. I don't know. The trailer just keeps making me cry, so I kind of want to see it. I really like Colin Farrell. He's grown on me over the years. I wasn't huge on him, actually. And then I watched this beautiful documentary about how his son has Angelman syndrome and all the work he's done. Right. And then I kind of took a second look at him, and I looked through his catalog of films. And I'm like, gosh, this guy's a chameleon. He's so good. He's just so good. I love everything. And he's having a year because he's got a few more films coming out, too, not just this one. So I want to see that. Of course, so Tron is also coming out in October, and the latest trailer actually does make me want to see it. I was on the fence about it.
Despite the Jared Leto of it all?
This is it. I don't like Jared Leto, and I wasn't sure that I would like the idea of Tron in the real world, but the latest trailer sold me on it. I really want Drew to see it. However, it's only going to work if they put the second one back in theaters, which they might, because it's very similar to Avatar. This is not a film that you can just go home and stream and then you're invested. You have to have the movie theater experience. And anyone who saw Tron Legacy knows exactly what I'm talking about. It's the music. It's the way everything is shot. It's the whole immersive experience. And this new trailer made me think that they really are doing that. And Jeff Bridges has returned and he's kind of talking about that and what a great job Nine Inch Nails has done on the soundtrack. So I'm kind of more interested in Tron. And of course, Avatar when it comes out later in the year.
Yeah, so. Can't wait for Avatar. Speaking of Margot Robbie, we got to see the trailer for the new Wuthering Heights with her and Jacob Elordi. So it's like Wuthering Heights if it was especially horny.
Yeah,
so I'm looking forward to that.
And he's also got Frankenstein coming out, which is huge. And I love Guillermo del Toro, so I definitely want to see Frankenstein as well.
So hopefully we're through this movie drought and there'll be some stuff coming soon that we can review so that we're not doing something that nobody saw, like Relay.
Yeah.
Too bad for Relay.
Relay will get a second life when it comes to streaming maybe because it wasn't bad, but a lot of old people watched it apparently.
Yeah.
Anyway, please hype our video if you get the chance, if you have the opportunity and you see that icon below it. We really appreciate a hype. Like and subscribe. Drew has been putting some short form, quick reviews that are 3 minutes or less on our Shorts tab, which you can see there. We have been getting a few more comments. Our subscribers are kind of stagnated, so it'd be really cool to get some more if you want to share with your friends or family, or you know, if you have other horror channels that you like, or movie review channels, or I guess the only thing that we don't really fit in with, even though we have tried to do it, is more like the superhero review channels. Like we're not quite hitting that mark.
Our Relay review almost has as many views as our Fantastic Four review.
Yeah, there you go. I think people are coming to us for all these crazy ones we're seeing instead. But anyway, we appreciate those of you who do watch, and thanks to Drew's mom, thanks to Ange, who are always watching. We appreciate you.
All right, so that's that for that. That's that for that. And we'll see you at the next one.
See you at the movies.
Bye.
Good job, you didn't bleed this time.